Ever had to work with someone who brought nothing but stress and negativity because they're so angry and impossible to please? I once did. And what started as frustration turned into one of the most powerful lessons I have ever learned about empathy. I really want to share this so you too can see how to use a simple method to achieve breakthroughs with even the most difficult individuals. I was overseeing a fast food restaurant and things weren't going very well. Sales were down, our costs were going up, customers were leaving for our competitors, and we were having a lot of equipment failure. And to make things worse, our accounting suggested that there might be some pilferage going on. And all fingers pointed to our delivery guy, Joaquin. He was moody, defensive, and lately outright hostile. When security footage showed him making strange movements around the loading bay, I thought, case closed. Bad attitude, suspicious behavior. He had to go. I took the footage straight to Mr. Godfrey, the owner. Soon the cooks, the servers, the whole staff knew. Everyone turned on Joaquin. One morning, our supervisor, Fiona, exploded at him over some drop offs he had failed to do the day before. She really let him have it in front of everyone. Why can't you do one simple thing right? You're useless. Suddenly, Mr. Godfrey's voice cut through the chaos. Fiona, that's enough. The room fell silent. Joachim slipped outside without a word, dragging out the garbage he had been accused of forgetting the day before. From the back office, I watched Mr. Godfrey follow him outside. Joachim was sitting in his truck, head on the steering wheel. When the boss called out, he straightened up, wiping his face on his sleeve. Godfrey leaned on the door. Everything all right? Joachim hesitated, then broke down. He explained how he had been caring for his sick mother, who had advanced dementia. He hadn't slept properly in weeks. He was worried about losing his job because of all the time off he had been missing. His request for some extra time had been denied, and Fiona was constantly pressuring him with ad hoc errands. He was just stressed and utterly exhausted. That's when everything clicked for me. Joachim's attitude, every sharp word, every defensive outburst, it wasn't defiance, it was pain, fear, fatigue. And Mr. Godfrey, he just listened, he didn't lecture. And the next day, I launched an intervention. I approved Joachim's time off, and he needed it to set up proper care for his mother. Then we streamlined his duties and adjusted his schedule so he could avoid rush hour traffic and work more efficiently. Later he came up to me and smiled, actually smiled, and said, "Thank you." Over the next week, something amazing happened. Joachim softened. The team's mood improved. Even customers started noticing better service. Except Fiona. She seemed irritated by the change. Then suddenly, she resigned. The next day, Joachim lingered after his shift. He said, "There's something I should tell you." What he told me was puzzling at first. Turns out Fiona had been asking him to drop off garbage at random stops on his route. He'd always found it odd, but was too afraid to speak up. I tried to contact Fiona, but we learned she had left the country and all calls to her phone went unanswered. And that's how we discovered where the pilferage was happening. Joachim went on to become one of our best employees, loyal, dependable, and respected. That experience taught me something I will never forget. Behind every difficult person is a story you don't know. The good book tells us to be our brother's keeper. So sometimes the smallest act of empathy doesn't just save them, it saves us too. Now, Whenever I feel tempted to judge someone at work, I ask myself, what pain might they be hiding? How can I create a space where they feel some level of psychological safety? And here's how you can start doing that today. One, listen actively. Don't rush to fix, just hear them out. Ask clarifying questions. Let them explain. Two, acknowledge emotions. Make no judgments about their feelings. Use words like, that sounds tough, or I get why you feel that way. Thirdly, offer meaningful support. Here you take it a step further. Help them find relief in practical, realistic ways and provide resources where needed. It was like an eye opener. We judged a man through the lens of frustration and almost lost a good person in the process. But when we paused to listen, to understand, and to support, everything changed, not just for him, but for all of us. Empathy turned conflict into connection, tension into teamwork. You see, judgment clouds, but empathy reveals. And in any workplace, especially as a leader, that's real power.